Raps are down by 1 right now in the third quarter.
They lost.
The following presentation has been brought to you by HSF Productions.
The Impromptu Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Jeff and David.
Hey guys, welcome back to IWP, the Impromptu Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Tally006. Over to my left, as always, is my brother Damien. How's it going this week?
This has been a really good week, and it's going to be a really good night. I feel like we're going to have a really awesome show, and the Raps are in Game 7. As we're recording this, I'm going to be watching this.
I'm going to have to crack
you know
the
what?
whip.
It was so amazing that the Raptors won last year. Could you imagine if they go back to back?
Back to back, baby. They had quite the test going up against the Celtics. They were undefeated in the bubble, finishing off the season, swept, Brooklyn Nets, whoever it was. They didn't even matter. And then all of a sudden they run into the Celtics. Like, man, the Celtics haven't been good since 78.
Since Bird.
Since Bird. So, I mean, the Celtics are a good team. They got that young kid. I don't even know his name. Basketball doesn't matter, but go Raps, definitely. But we have a big show, as you alluded to earlier. We got some Breaking Kayfabe, BTE, 2 episodes of AEW Dark, and of course, back to our weekly AEW Dynamite for another few months. Be good to get back into a regular routine. It was quite hectic the past couple weeks doing all out 2019, all out 2020 predictions, reviews. Let's get back into the flow of things and
Let's do it.
Let's get right into it. So I kind of struggled. Like, do we put this information in Breaking Kayfabe at the beginning of the show, even though we don't really get to talk about it until later on? Wasn't made official until, during the show, basically. But we had 2 big signings this week for AEW. Up on the screen right now is Conti. She worked with AEW during the women's tag team tournament, and there's the tease on Dynamite. She was out in the crowd. Is she gonna join Dark Order? Is she gonna join Anna Jay in Dark Order? Kind of recapture that glory of TJ, and now it's official. It's not official. She's in the Dark Order. Don't let me confuse everybody out there, but she is #All Elite. What are your thoughts on Conti joining All Elite Wrestling?
I'm for it. She's a total babe.
Oh,
so I mean, and she can wrestle.
She can wrestle. She's Brazilian, so she'll probably tie you in a knot and make you tap out. No, she's an amazing talent. I was a big fan of hers, seeing her in the Mae Young Classic. The first Mae Young Classic, I can't even remember what year that would have been. I think it was like 2017, maybe 2018. But she's been on my radar for a while. She's never been really given a shot to kind of be herself. It was always just kind of the Mae Young Classic. She goes out in the second round or something like that, and then you don't see her on NXT weekly anymore. And then you get into coming into AEW. Hopefully she gets a shot. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what she can do for the show. As well, maybe an even bigger signing, arguably. They got it in quotations here, the best man. And again, we'll talk about this more in depth later on in the show as this happened kind of live on Dynamite. But the best man, Miro, formerly known as Rusev. Oh, that sounded good. Got to work on that.
That was pretty badass.
Miro is All Elite. Another, as people like to say, another ex-WWE guy coming over to AEW, and they like to kind of throw that in All Elite Wrestling fans' faces who, All Elite was all about, yeah, we're not going to take every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming out of WWE, but, you know, lately we've been signing a lot of WWE guys, so they kind of like to throw that in your face. But, I mean, when a talent like Miro is on the market, I mean, you got to go for him. This guy was great. He was handed a stupid gimmick, made it great. You know, I think this guy's talented. I can't wait to see what he's going to do in this more realistic, more himself type character that he's going to be able to do. And with the freedom that AEW has, I'm excited about Miro being in All Elite Wrestling. What do you think of Miro?
Yeah, I've watched him on his Twitch stream, and he is quite the character. So I think if he brings that personality to AEW, I think we're gonna have some great moments, especially since he's seemed to be teamed up here with Kip Sabian. Mm-hmm. And I believe we talked about a couple of weeks ago how Kip is great, but Kip is great when he has somebody to work off of. And I think this is a really, really good fit. I think we're going to see some awesome stuff out of these guys. So looking forward to it.
All right. And again, we'll talk more about Miro a little bit later on in the show.
Oh, did I give it away?
No, I spoiled it. Another piece of news is Renee Young, now known by her real name, Renee Paquette. She's been doing interviews all over the place. Anybody and whoever. I said that weird, but if you want an interview with Renee Young, she's open for business, man. She's been interviewing with everybody. I sent the feeler email out. I sent the feeler a tweet out. You know, hey, we got a YouTube podcast, so give us a shout back. Haven't heard back yet. She's ghosting us, but that's besides the point. Anyways, some new information came out. I guess somebody got brave enough to ask the question, you know, is there a no compete clause tied to your leave, you're quitting from WWE? How long until you can work in a wrestling company again, kind of thing? And, you know, she kind of beat around the bush a little bit, you know, for legal reasons, of course, but she kind of hinted at the fact that it is upwards to 1 year long, which is astronomical. Like, compared to the 90 days, I've seen 6 months before, but a year to not be able to work in the wrestling business when that's your career is, you know, commentator, reporter in the wrestling business. That's crazy. What are your thoughts on Renee Young not going to be able to work for AEW for a whole year?
I mean, I think it's the ultimate compliment in a way, because it just shows how talented she is and how sought after she's going to be. And I was watching one of the post All Out interviews with John Moxley, and one of the reporters asked about Renee, and he said that, you know, she still wants to be in wrestling, and, you know, don't be surprised if she did show up around here.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it might not be for a year, but it seems like, I'm not saying All Elite confirmed, but you know, if she made some appearances, we wouldn't be surprised.
You know, you could always see, like, we've seen Britt Baker on NXT before. You know, if that's just the feeler, and she's just kind of in the crowd, you know, kind of a camera pan, maybe we start seeing her ringside. It's technically not working. You know, maybe that's how it starts. I would like to see something like that, where she's just John Moxley's wife. She's not Renee, you know, wrestling journalist or something. You know what I mean? So maybe that's how it starts. It's that legal loophole that maybe you can get around. She's just there supporting her husband, right? So yeah, I'm excited for Renee's future. It sucks that her future can't really start for, you know, upwards of a year. That's the way she worded it. It could be longer. But I totally agree with what you're saying. It's the ultimate compliment. Vince knows what he's losing. There was she did one of the WWE kind of web shows, and they had all the superstars record kind of goodbye messages to her. She was in tears. I was almost in tears. Like, it was really emotional. Everybody loved her, and I can't wait to see her back on TV. And then the last piece of news is Brad Alonso. He had to. I think he had to swallow a bitter pill here this week. I can't help
we
but
finally
feel
like one of his tweets.
Yeah. So I mean, to be fair, AEW went unopposed on Wednesday night this week. All right.
Aren't they always unopposed?
Well, I mean, technically, but I mean, because of the NHL playoffs, NXT on the USA Network had to move to Tuesdays. They did this 2-week Super Tuesday 1 and 2. They were great shows. We actually watched the Super Tuesday night 2 NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Adam Cole. It was a really great match. Started off the show. The show ended off with a cage match between Rhea Ripley and Martinez. Can't remember what her name is. Martina Martinez. I can't remember what her name is. But
that tennis player.
Maybe. So it seemed like they were really great shows. But this week, AEW Dynamite's on Wednesday on its flagship night, unopposed, and AEW puts up their first 1 million viewer average. Now, you can say that that's because NXT wasn't on. You can say that the hype of All Out brought in some viewers. You know, say what you want. The facts are on the screen right now. AEW puts up 1 million views. You know, we're creeping up to Raw numbers now. Like, let's not forget that Raw's been slipping from the 2 million viewer mark. My question to you is it better for wrestling fans as a whole that NXT's on Tuesdays, AEW on Wednesdays? Or do you think that the competition of the head-to-head battle is more beneficial for wrestling?
You know what? It would probably be better for both companies if they would do it on separate nights. But I think we all know what Vince's attitude is he wants to take any opponent down.
Right.
So I think when we were watching that Finn Balor Adam Cole match, you had mentioned that Vince made a statement that there's no way they're moving away from Wednesday.
You know, there was some talks that Triple H he's open to the idea of moving off Wednesday and going to Tuesday. But yeah, Vince apparently nixed that like instantly. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. I like the idea of a head-to-head competition. I feel like it makes everybody perform better. But I mean, when you can watch Raw on Monday, NXT on Tuesdays, AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, and then a SmackDown if you're feeling really frisky on a Friday, you know, that's just good for business, I think, for everybody. I think the competition is still there. Maybe it's not clear cut. Sure. Maybe it's not a clear cut competition against NXT anymore. Maybe it's more AEW versus WWE now. But I don't know. Bully Ray on his Sirius XM radio show talked about this, and he's like, yeah, NXT should definitely move to Tuesday. They were losing week to week. This way we can all watch everything without any, without any hindrance, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Like, fans who want to watch both, they're having to make a choice.
Well, and I mean, in today's age, it's not that big a deal for us fans. We get to watch it all whenever we want. But when it comes to ratings and numbers and to be able to show your support, you kind of have to watch it when it's on. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, I've made the decision. I have scheduled my life around Wednesdays so that I can tune in. You know, my number's not even part of this 1.016 million. You know what I mean? Because we're up in Canada. This is America only. I mean, I've said it before. I'd love to see what the North American numbers are like. But like I was saying, I like to support what I believe in, and you know, I make sure I tune in on TSN every Wednesday. So, but yeah, I think NXT would do well on Tuesday. I think AEW would do well by itself. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the future. Let's move on to this week's Being the Elite. This was episode 220. All Out Fallout was a great name. I was excited to see where they were going to go with this one. What were your overall thoughts on the episode?
Some is one of those hit and miss ones.
Right.
There's like some really good segments, and there was ones that I can't forget fast enough. So I don't know. It wasn't a home run for me.
Yeah, definitely not. I think it had the one standout bit for me was, again, Dark Order. We've speculated in the past. We've all but confirmed it lately. But I mean, this is a signed, sealed, and delivered statement that the Exalted One, Brodie Lee, is Vince McMahon. Hands down. There's no argument anymore. This is where he's taking this. And it's clear cut in this skit that they do this week where, you know, it was very much in the news. It's in the national news in America that Vince McMahon is not allowing his employees to make money off their real names on third-party apps and sites like Twitch, Cameo, Instagram. Like, they're not allowed to monetize their real names. There was a statement that says that we own your work names and your real names. Like, we own you. That's kind of like, it wasn't worded exactly like that. I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, that's a pretty bold statement. So in this skit, what is it? Silver? It had to have been Silver. Was on his phone, and Brodie Lee's like, "What are you doing?" Uno. Oh, is it Uno? Okay.
Yeah.
Uno's on his phone, and Brodie Lee's like, "What are you on Twitch?" No, it's Instagram. Well, enough of it, and he like knocks it off, and then he makes the declaring statement that Dark Order is not allowed to use third-party websites. And I mean, I just like, you can talk all you want about the shots that AEW takes at WWE. Is it right? Is it wrong? It's funny. It is all that really matters to me right now. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's what makes it funny, right? Like, does Vince really feel that his employees are somehow taking money out of his pocket because, you know, they're getting a few donations on Twitch or whatnot? You know, take Paige, for example. Mm-hmm. I've watched her a couple of times, and like, she donates a lot of the donations that she gets. She does it to causes. Like, I think it's really in the benefit of Vince for his employees to do that, to get to know the employees on a more personal level, and it's going to make them buy the t-shirts and, you know, see them when they're close to the city or not, when, you know, things get back to normal. So I don't know what he's so pissy about.
Me neither. And I mean, if anything, WWE is going to make more money off these people who are on Twitch and Instagram and killing it on TikTok and whatnot, because I'm sure there's a lot of viewers out there that don't even watch wrestling, but they catch it, you know, because like Paige is really high up in her like viewer levels. Like she's always at the top of the page. She's a good looking girl. I mean, I'm scrolling through just chatting. I see that. I'm going to click on it. Oh, who's this? Oh, you know, she's talking about wrestling. Like, oh, is she a wrestler? Really? And then, you know, maybe I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole new audience that could be coming over. But he's trying to, you know, axe this or whatever. You know, since then, later this week, there's been a clarification on what the actual, you know, rule is or what the legal statement is. I don't want to really get into it, but I mean, it sounds like they're backtracking a little bit because of the backlash that they're getting. But I mean, again, using Paige as an example, she's already changed. Like she used to be Paige Official WWE or Paige WWE Official. Now her Twitch channel is Serena or Serena.
Oh.
I can't remember what her actual real name is. I think it's Serena or Syra or something. It's something weird. Gypsy name. But anyways, like she's changed her Twitch channel because she was one of the first ones. They're like, nuh-uh. Like, you guys do not put me on TV as much anymore. You know, I need something to do kind of thing. So she's taking it kind of into her own hands. Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Sorry, one last thing. My first thought was Xavier. Like,
right.
He has like a huge YouTube channel and whatnot. Like, is he really going to have to shut it down? Because Vince, like,
something that's been established way before he was ever, you know, big in WWE, right? You know, so it's weird. So yeah, WWE is definitely backtracking a little bit since the initial, you know, statement, the big cutoff. But I mean, everybody's blaming Lana, and I tend to too. So. But let's get back on topic. Anything else stand out for you on BTE this week?
Big storyline stuff in BTE involving Hangman and Kenny.
Right.
You know, the Bucks don't want to have anything to do with Hangman at all. And they said, you know, I think it's just time for us to go on our own. And you know, later in the show here, we're going to talk about Kenny's feelings about Hangman. So
right.
It's really not looking good for the Elite at this point.
Yeah, at least the Elite as we know it right now. I think the Elite will always be a thing, but you know, it's going to look a lot different with Cody out on an injury and Hangman, you know, basically fired from the Elite. Yeah. It was a fine episode. Again, you kind of said it best. It was one of those hit and miss ones. I recommend checking it out. It's always good to support.
Yeah, and by the misses, like I'm talking about, I'm done with the Walmart thing.
Yeah.
They're not even making it funny. Besides, you know, hey, there's Ricochet. Remember that guy? Mm-hmm. And then I don't even know if it was a speaking Spanglish segment, but we had like Vicky Guerrero and Diamante in some not so great acting.
They were trying to like they were like talking to Siri but in Spanglish, right? Like, and they were
right.
But then they were overdubbing Siri because Siri obviously wasn't working properly with them or something like that. So yeah. It was a whatever. I mean, we said it from the start. Spanglish is not a segment for us. We don't get it, but as long as somebody's liking it, I guess keep doing it. But
for sure.
I know what you're saying. But yeah, go check out BTE. It's always entertaining. It's always an entertaining 15-20 minutes for sure on a Monday afternoon. Let's move into Friday special edition of AEW Dark. This was episode 50, September 4th, 2020. We had a few matches on this card. Let's run through them as quickly as possible.
All right. The Butcher and the Blade go over on Fabio, Andre, and D3. In match number 2, Allin goes over on Red Velvet. In match number 3, we had Colt Cabana going over on Zach Clayton. After this match, there was an interview with Peter Avalon, and he essentially says that the initiative is done, and he challenges Brandon to a match to see, finally determine who the worst wrestler in AEW is.
It's happening.
So maybe we could take a little second here. You can pat yourself on the back for what,
we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it turns out. I was really hoping that this match would have ended up on Tuesday Night Dynamite, or the Tuesday edition of Dark, but it didn't. So I'm excited to see when it actually does go down. Hopefully it's next week. But if I'm right for this, like, holy shit, how long ago did I call that?
Yeah, the only thing that's weird for me is why give them a tag name, and then like they must have knew they were getting to this point. I don't know. Is it to throw us off?
Swerve us a little bit? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's a good question. Maybe they end up back together. Who knows?
Match number 4, we had Lucha Brothers over Ryzen and Angel Perez. Match number 5, Ivelisse goes over on Kyle and King. Match number 6, we had Dark Order's Silver and Reynolds going over on Sean Dean and Brandon Bullock. And after this match, we have an interview with Brandon, who accepts Peter Avalon's challenge. And this match is going to happen at some point. I don't think it was announced, though. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard anything yet. Leva Bates was with Brandon during this acceptance of the challenge.
She was, yeah. She was with both of them, and she was pretty distraught about the challenge being set forth and then ultimately being accepted, because she really wants these guys to continue to be a tag.
Right. So let's just take a little second for you to pat yourself on the back, because you're the one who called it. She's going to have to make a choice on who she goes with. And maybe that's what this match ends up being, is winner gets Leva.
Okay. Do you think maybe she's involved with who, like, does she determine who wins?
Maybe. But like she was with Peter for the challenge, and now she's with Brandon for the acceptance of the challenge. Like, she's obviously torn, and that's something that you brought up would be an interesting story point.
Right.
Congratulations.
And I feel like she will go with Brandon.
Interesting.
That's my guess. In match number 7, Darby Allin goes over on Luther, which I thought was an interesting matchup. It was a pretty good match.
That was really good.
And in the main event on Friday, we had Natural Nightmares versus Dark Orders 5 and 10. So 10 back after his arm injury from John Moxley. Did you watch this match?
Yeah, I checked it out just because it was 10's kind of comeback match or whatever. And QT Marshall, Dustin, awesome veterans of the business, going up against two young guys. Alan Angels can really work. 10 is an amazing young talent. He's only been in the business for a little while, but he was very promising in the few matches that we saw before he was in Dark Order. So, I have some high expectations for this kid. This match was great. I just found it really interesting that, Alec or Silver and Reynolds are kind of the comedy bit of Dark Order. These guys seem to be more, in line with an Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, but Silver and Reynolds go over in their match and these guys lose. I understand that they're going up against Natural Nightmares. They're working up to a big match on All Out at this point, but maybe put them in against somebody else and make sure they're going over too. I feel like there's some hit and miss booking when it comes to the Dark Order lately. That's all I wanted to mention about them. Yeah,
I've always been saying Dark Order, really should be winning, and if they're losing, it really shouldn't be a clean win. You always said that it should be Silver and Reynolds that should be losing every time because they're kind of the jobbers. But Silver and Reynolds has been kicking butt. Looking real good out there.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. So Dark episode 51. This is the following Tuesday after All Out. In the first match of the night, we had Will Hobbs going over on Sean Legacy.
Big
Legacy's
first win
debut.
for Will Hobbs.
Yeah. In the next match, we had Brian Cage going over on Tony Donati. The next match, we had Angelico beating Griff Garrison. And in what I'm calling the main event, Anna Jay wins against Skylar Moore. Anna Jay is looking more comfortable in the ring every time we see her and doing her Dark Order bit. Loving it. In the next match, we had Eddie Kingston back in action. He wins this match over Lee Johnson, which I thought was a really good match. This is like the third match we've seen him in. We saw him versus Cody, the TNT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him in that Battle Royal, which you know, unless you're really focused on watching him, you're not really seeing what he can do. And I was really impressed in this match. I really liked what he had to offer, and in his AEW Unrestricted podcast that he did with Tony and Aubrey, he said that he's really working out. He's trying to drop his weight, and I think he's just going to get better and better. So I'm looking forward to
Awesome.
that.
That's exciting to hear.
Yeah. In the next match, we had Sonny Kiss. He wins over Serpentico. And in the main event, we had Ricky Starks, and he wins over Ben Carter, who that was Ben's AEW debut. So 15 matches there. It's a crazy couple of episodes of AEW Dark.
Yeah, some really solid matches too. I agree. Let's get into this week's Power Rankings for September 9th, 2020. We had some changes over the weekend.
Yeah, we had some changes. So we have our champs, John Moxley and Brodie Lee. Lance Archer is now the number one contender with a record of 13-1. Followed by Brian Cage up 2 positions. MJF drops 2 positions to number 3. Cody's down 1 position to number 4, which I'm thinking if he takes more time off, he'll be out of the top 5 soon. And rounding out the top 5 is Scorpio Sky. In the women's division, we have no changes from last week. Sheeta's still our champ. Nyla Rose, the number 1 contender, followed by Big Swole, Abaddon, Penelope Ford, and Britt Baker. And in the tag team division, we have our new champs, FTR. Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page are now the number 1 contenders, followed by Best Friends, Young Bucks, Natural Nightmares, and Proud and Powerful break the top 5, dropping Jurassic Express out of the top 5.
Cool stuff. Interesting stuff. Excited to see what'll happen to the Power Rankings as we get the lead up into full gear in November. I think there's going to be a lot of movement. Hasn't been a lot of movement during the pandemic era, as we've called it in the past, but now that things are starting to get back to normal, I think we're going to see a lot more movement in the Power Rankings. Exciting to see. Let's get right into Wednesday night Dynamite, September 9th, 2020, live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. This was an awesome show. Like we kind of buried the go home show going into All Out last week, but you know, the episode after a pay-per-view is always exciting, and this one didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed this episode. Again, we watched it together. Show started off with Tony Schiavone kind of in the parking lot, and 2 vehicles pull up, and out comes MJF and Chris Jericho. And when you get these two together, it's always gold. And they had quite the funny exchange to start off Dynamite.
Yeah, they were kind of blowing air out each other's butts. You know, you're so awesome. Jericho's telling him you're going to be the champion soon, like don't worry about this loss to John Moxley. He's a piece of trash. And then MJF, he's like, you know what? I know what you mean. I'm I'm so I feel bad for you that you even had to put your hands on Orange Cassidy. That guy's a creep and all these things, and so it kind of seems like they're friends and whatnot, and then they start to walk away, and we get a split screen, and they both say at the same time, like, "Oh, what an idiot,"
What a loser.
something to that degree. So, I mean, I thought it was good because they're both heels, right? So,
Yeah,
you're not really making friends with one another. I thought it was good.
I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was still before the new year. But we had this awesome segment on Dynamite where Jericho and MJF are in the ring, and they're talking to each other. Like, they do the whole, "Do you want to be in the inner circle?" And MJF's all like, "Do you want me to be in the inner circle?" And they kind of go back and forth, and it was really an entertaining bit. But then it all comes back to the Jericho Kevin Owens bit. Like, wait, what are we fighting for? We know exactly whose fault this is. Cody Rhodes. And then they have a laugh, and it, like, they do have this chemistry together in the ring. But then there was nothing after that. MJF and Chris Jericho never really interacted, so it was kind of cool to see them back together. And I wonder if this leads to, are they just teasing us with this feud, Jericho and MJF? Because I think that would be big money. But keep teasing it. Just remind us that these guys are awesome together. But maybe we'll wait till the full crowds are back to promote that big match. So
Right.
I'm kind of interested what the thought behind this little segment was, but I enjoyed it. I love these two together. They're the best.
Yeah, I think we get our answer later on in the night, but
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
At this time, yeah, we're wondering, like, yeah, we don't see these guys together very often, so, and it's always gold.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as we get right into the show, we have our first matchup of the night. We talked a little bit last week, I believe it was, and how AEW Dynamite has a lot of wrestling, 59 minutes in a 2-hour show. Raw, 29 minutes in a 3-hour show of actual professional wrestling. And I was thinking about that statement and how Raw always starts with a promo. Top guys usually in the ring already, cuts a promo, kind of leads into setting up what's going to be the main event for that night. And then I realized, like, AEW Dynamite always starts with a wrestling match. And lately the guys have already been in the ring. There's no entrances. I like that. Let's get right into the action. So this week, again, no different. We have the Lucha Brothers being supported by Eddie Kingston going up against Jurassic Express. This was a good match. I like the dynamics that they were working with in this one.
Yeah, and from what I understand, this was apparently supposed to be one of Jurassic Express's first match on Dynamite. The first time they were ever supposed to be on Dynamite, they were supposed to fight the Lucha Brothers.
Oh, okay.
So this is a long time coming, these two groups getting together, and yeah, I thought they did really well. I thoroughly enjoyed the match, and I really liked the ending.
Yeah, we watched this together, and we're talking about 3 of these 4 guys are like super talented, and one's getting really good. He's getting better anyways, and that's Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus has kind of been hit and miss lately, but I don't want to say hit and miss too much, because that might be a catch sooner or later for us. But like Luchasaurus, he's been getting so good. But there were some moments in this match where I was just like, holy shit, Luchasaurus just killed Rey Fenix. And then they show some couple other angles, and Rey's like totally in control of his body, and he lands fine. But I think that's what makes this match so good, is that a lot of these moves looked super real in the moment. And that's what professional wrestling's all about, is just making it look real in the moment. This match was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Luchasaurus. I don't know if he's such a big guy, and does he seem a little clumsy? I don't know. He's all about the kicks too. So yeah, I don't know, but I do think he's getting better, and this was probably one of his best matches.
It really was. It really was. Like, I'm not trying to say he's dangerous in the ring or anything like that. I just think, like, when these moves look as deadly as like I was scared for Ray's life on that choke slam, that flip choke slam that we saw for the first time at All Out. Like, I thought Lucha was dumping him on his head, but I mean, the other angle showed that, like, Ray totally tucks his chin. He lands fine. But, I mean, that's what makes professional wrestling good. And I'm complimenting Luchasaurus on, you know, making these moves look as devastating as possible. This match was amazing. I loved it. Let's talk about the ending. You said it was an awesome ending.
Yeah, so we get a Jurassic Express win here. And I like that they won because Pentagon gives Ray a Canadian Destroyer by accident.
Right. Jungle Boy throws Ray in the way of the Canadian Destroyer off the ropes. Yes. Right.
So you know, completely legal, no rules are broken here, but they get the some could say shocker win here.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, big win for Jurassic Express. And we get some business after the match. This was a bit awkward at moments.
Yeah.
What did you think about this?
I get what they were going for. We've seen this in the weeks leading up to All Out, that there is some sort of tension in between the ranks of this Kingston crew, Kingston's Camelot. I don't know what they're going to call this faction, if you will, the stable. But I mean, the Lucha Brothers, Butcher and the Blade. At first, it was the two tag teams kind of butting heads. And then Eddie Kingston's got to come in and break them up and remind everybody that everybody's family and it's all good. But now it's Ray and Pentagon have some heat in between themselves. I mean, obviously stemming from this accidental Canadian Destroyer. But I mean, if you're going to promote some infighting within a specified tag team that's within this, why don't you go Butcher and Blade? To me, the Lucha Brothers are actual blood brothers. It's not really feasible that they would actually be angry with each other, to me. So that's where the booking of that,
I mean, I think if you gave me a Canadian, I might be sore about it for a little while, at least.
I mean, I've been super kicked by my brother, and I mean, I don't really hold grudges. But that's besides the point. I mean,
yeah, no, you know what? I think the worst part about this is that it just went too long.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, you know, Kingston tries to break them up, and then they start again. I think it happened 2 times that he's trying to get these guys to kiss and make up, and they keep shoving one another. It just went too long.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, Ray's willing to bury the hatchet. He puts his hand out to shake the hand. Penta pushes him away, and then they do it all over again. Familia this and Familia that, and then it's Pentagon who reaches out, and then Ray's got to think about it. It's just like, yeah, it was just like one too many steps. We get it, you know. There's some infighting in Kingston's. We understand that Kingston's the glue, but yeah, it definitely went too long. And yeah, I think that maybe this angle would have worked better with Butcher and Blade rather than the Lucha Brothers, but it is what it is. Yeah. It was a good match, though. You guys go check this one out.
And then we get kind of some news here. Kingston nonchalantly throws out a little phrase here, and it made us have to go back and watch a bit of All Out.
Yeah, I had to.
You want to talk about this?
I had to pull up the Fight app. Pull up my free replay from ordering it this weekend and watch what happened. So basically, Eddie Kingston says, I was never eliminated from the Casino Battle Royale. Look up the rules. And I'm like, what is he talking about, man? I watched that guy get thrown off the top rope into Butcher and Pentagon, whoever was still out there. So, yeah, we looked it up. We watched it, and sure enough, there's a spot where Lance Archer kind of hits him down, and he rolls under the bottom rope. Gets to the outside. Lance Archer eliminates Matt Sydal, and then he goes for the big boot to knock Kingston off. Kingston low bridges him. Archer ends up on the outside. They have a battle on the apron. Archer throws Kingston off the top rope. So yeah, he's definitely got an argument there. Technically wasn't eliminated. I mean, it's not going to make any difference to your score in comparison to my. Like, I'm still going to win if these points get reversed, but
yeah.
But I mean,
do you think that this is legit? Is this a work, or is this going to go somewhere, you think?
I think this is totally planned. This is 100% how the match was supposed to go. And I think this leads, because if we get Archer Moxley right away, it's too soon. So I think Archer's starting to build. We're going to hear from Archer in this next segment. Archer's going to start building his case against Moxley, and we're going to start getting that feud, but Kingston's going to he's going to be that badger that keeps reminding everybody that he wasn't eliminated. You know, it's Curtis Axel at Royal Rumble all over again. I was never eliminated. That's been going on for like 8 years now. He's never been eliminated from the Royal Rumble. So I think eventually, maybe at the end of September, leading into like the anniversary shows of Dynamite, we'll get a Kingston versus Archer match for a number one contender match. I think that's where they're going. I think this is completely a plan from the beginning, just to extend the feud between Archer and Moxley. Just kind of that B story that keeps the story rolling.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think?
I like it.
You don't have any thoughts on it, or?
I mean, I
do you think it was an accident?
It doesn't look to me like it was on purpose, but maybe that's just how good Eddie Kingston is. Like, it just looked like he was trying to get away, and then it's like he forgot to come back in the ring at some point. But you know, they are professionals, so it's probably not going to make that type of mistake.
I could see that being a possibility if he rolled out of the ring and then like walked around on the outside or something, like he was collecting himself or something. But he rolls out onto the apron and then stands up right away. So, you know, to me, it's all planned. I like to give the benefit of the doubt. It's all work, right?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think we can't just have Archer Moxley. I think later in the episode we do find out when this is going to happen.
Oh, okay. I forget.
Yeah. So we can talk about it then.
Yeah. Let's move on. So, like I said, we get to hear from Archer and Roberts in this next segment. They do a little promo. It looks like they're, you know, out by the loading dock or something like that. Archer really putting it home that, you know, Moxley's next and I'm coming for you. I can't really comment on this because during this promo I was loading up All Out and rewatching the Casino Battle Royal. So what was the emphasis on this promo from Archer and Jake?
It was mostly Jake that was doing the talking. It was raining, so he was using a bit of symbolism with the rain and whatnot. But it was pretty much Moxley's been the champ too long, and it's gonna change because Lance is gonna destroy him.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've mentioned it in previous episodes that these two have history. It's not like this is going to be the first time these two are locking horns. They had an epic hardcore match in New Japan for the IWGP United States Championship, which Moxley comes out on top. So, I mean, that's important information for us to think about when coming to a prediction for, this eventual Archer Moxley matchup. Excited for it. Next segment, I believe we go to commercial break and we come back, and it was promoted all week that we were going to hear from Matt Hardy. He was going to touch on the unfortunate circumstances that came about during his match against Sammy Guevara. This was very much a shoot promo. I feel like this wasn't broken Matt Hardy. This wasn't Damascus. This wasn't how do I save my character on the show because of this horrific thing that happened to me on Saturday. This was very much Matthew Hardy talking about his future in AEW. What were your thoughts on everything Matt had to say, and the fact that Rebby was there with their newborn son and everything like that? Like, I didn't think she would ever agree to be on camera after what's happened to Matt the last few times. So, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I thought the same thing as you. This seemed very, very real. I mean, he spends the entire promo, if you want to call it that, apologizing.
Yeah.
Apologizing for, having everybody worry about him, and apologizing for not giving the type of match that him and Sammy wanted to give everyone. It did sound like he's not 100%, and we probably should expect not to see him around. And if you caught it there, he mentions very briefly, he's like, the feud with Sammy is over, so that's done. We should probably expect something new out of Sammy soon.
Yeah, once he gets his legs back in order. I don't know if you watched his vlog from this week, but he was all put up at home, and he had all the cryo, I don't know what those devices were he had all wrapped around his legs, but he's really selling this fall for Matt, which I think is a great thing that he would even do that, because I mean, it's very clear when you watch the match. I mean, that one little fall from the scaffolding is probably not going to put him up, but I mean, he's trying to save the story at some point. So I mean, I got to put hands together for Sammy for trying to put this feud over in a way, even though it was kind of a disappointing end to it. But I like the fact that Matt Hardy's calling this feud off, if you will. Like, the blood feud's over. I'm done with Sammy. However you want to put it into words, but I'm excited for Sammy to move on from this. This feud is almost a 3 strikes you're out type of situation. You know what I mean? Like, pandemic hits. The feud's supposed to be with Chris Jericho, and then it moves over to Sammy because they have other plans for Chris. And then Sammy has to leave TV for a little while, and now you have this unfortunate fall and the chair shot. Like, this feud was just, I don't know, it just wasn't meant to be, if you will. The wrestling gods just didn't think that we needed to see this feud pan out the way it did, but it's unfortunate. But I'm excited for Sammy to get into something new, and we hope that Matt Hardy gets better and he comes back with a vengeance and goes into the next storyline that they give him with 100% focus and concentration. So that'll be good.
What did you think about his wife being there?
For how much shit that she's given AEW and Sammy and whatnot, like, I was really surprised that she showed up and even agreed to be on camera. It's one thing to be there, that's your husband. Like, I said this all during the All Out review show. Like, yeah, that's your husband, and I know you're worried about him and stuff like that, but man, did she shovel some shit on everything. And yeah, it just really surprises me that she agreed to be shown on camera. And I guess that in a way makes me feel better about her stance. Like, okay, maybe she's okay. Maybe it's
and I'm
all
thinking
good.
that's why Matt probably asked her to come.
Yeah.
Is that this is kind of, maybe, you know, she reacted to what happened and what's been happening. But you know, she's not a hater.
Right.
Because I it could turn people off. I think to AEW that you know, we have a lot of blood in stuff on our show, and I don't know that some people want to see that.
Yeah. And I mean, it could turn people off of Matt Hardy. Now, Matt Hardy's in a very crucial spot in his career. And if you got I don't want to say any derogatory words here or anything like that, but when you got the wife who's like constantly on the business, you know, because it's killing her husband essentially, you know, maybe people will, if we don't pay attention to him, maybe he'll go away. So maybe this is a way for Matt Hardy to kind of save face in front of his fans, and like, you know, she's okay, we're okay, everything's okay, we'll be back in a few months, and we'll get back to business. I'm surprised she was there, but I like that she was there.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't mean for that to sound so ranty, but that's me.
She looked good.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup of the night. We had Angelico from TH2 versus Orange Cassidy. This matchup surprised me when I saw it on the bill. I was like, oh, really? It's an interesting matchup after you go from Chris Jericho. 3 matches with Chris Jericho. Now you got to go up against Angelico. But this was a good match. I mean, it was quick. It was almost that reverse squash match that we've seen Orange Cassidy do before, where he kind of gets worked on for a little while and then he just turns it around, and 2 or 3 moves later he's the winner, keeping Orange looking strong after this big win over the GOAT. What did you think of this matchup? It's quick.
Yeah, I thought it was weird too. But you know, 2 athletic guys. I think it gets TH2 back in the, you know, Dynamite conversation rather than, you know, kind of just doing headlining Dark. And you know, like we always say, this was really more about the after the match. So it was a good setup into getting to that point.
Right, for sure. And what we're talking about there is while Cassidy is celebrating his win over Angelico, Proud and Powerful attack. They bring out the baton. They work on Cassidy a little bit, but the best friends are quick to come to the rescue. Drive them out. They go into the barricaded area, where the fans would be, and we get a pretty. I mean, I feel like we've heard this promo from Best Friends already, but passionate, to the point. It was quick. It was short and sweet. You know, enough is enough. We need to end this once and for all. And they challenged Proud and Powerful to the parking lot match that we were supposed to see damn near 5 months ago. But, you know, plans had to change for whatever reason. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had this match card downloaded for the show to be ready to go for next week. It was going to be Best Friends, Proud and Powerful in this parking lot street fight, and we never got it. Here it is. We're finally going to get it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on
I think
that?
it was because of the pandemic and the rules that they had to follow in order to keep going.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, this parking lot battle was supposed to be Blood and Guts. It was supposed to be on the same show as Blood and Guts. But Blood and Guts had to be canceled because you can't have more than 10 people, you know, in a closed area or whatever. And, you know, the whole show had to be rewritten. So that's why we got gypped out of the match. So I don't know. I'm just really excited that we're finally going to get this parking lot brawl between Best Friends and Proud and Powerful. I'm excited for it.
Do you think Sue's making an appearance?
I think she has to.
Right?
She's got to pull up. She's got to pull up in a brand new. I don't even know what a Honda minivan is called, but she's got to pull up in a brand new minivan, and like I think she has to run over Ortiz. I think that's a spot that has to happen, right?
Bonus points.
Oh my God, could you imagine if they did that? She would be like, oh my God, did I do it right? She'd be like all out of sorts, like,
yeah,
I just ran that man over. So, I'm excited that this match has finally happened. I like how I almost like it wasn't until he said parking lot, oh, we'll meet you out in the parking lot. We don't need a ring for this. However he put it. It wasn't until he said that triggered that we were supposed to see this match months ago. So I like how they totally built this story back to this point because it seemed super organic and natural. I totally forgot that we had already watched this progress. Like, that's just good booking right there. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Going on with the show, moving on with the show, we get another segment. Alex Marvez is outside the Young Bucks office. He's looking to get an interview with the Young Bucks. He knocks on their door 2 or 3 times. They're not answering. And just as he is about to throw it back to JR and Giovanni, the door opens and Alex Marvez is in the middle of a Superkick party he didn't know he was invited to. The best line in commentary I've heard all year. Holy shit, did I pop for that. But, I mean, this is crazy. This is something we really haven't seen from AEW and something we really haven't seen in professional wrestling since the Attitude Era, where these backstage interviewers who are seemingly untouchable, you know, are getting involved in, and he takes a double super kick. Props to Alex Marvez to agreeing to that. That's awesome. What did you think of this spot?
It looked really, really good.
I think that's camera angle. I'm sure they weren't even fucking close to him, but I mean, the idea of everything was really good. Yeah, they thought that out.
Yeah, commentary was on it, and, you know, saying things like they can't do that to a commentator, and then yeah, just when you know, you're criticizing JR for, you know, calling people the wrong names and all this, and then he pulls out some gold like that. Yeah, it was a really good segment. I really enjoyed it. and really, too, what we get out of this is, you know, it's a bit of comedy, but like you've mentioned, we're really seeing the Young Bucks going towards heel. Like they're doing bad things. They're doing the things that you would see out of a heel type character.
For anybody who didn't watch New Japan, you know, Bullet Club, up to this point, you think the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team in the world ever, because they'll tell you that. And they're the flashy guys, they're the good guys, they're the baby faces. That's all you know about the Young Bucks. For the people who have paid attention to the New Japan and the ROH and the Bullet Club era of the Young Bucks, like, we've been dying to see this again. And with what's happened between Kenny and Hangman and, you know, this weird tension that's in the Elite, I mean, this is a perfect time for this to happen. And I like how they're doing it, where they're struggling with this decision of heel. You know, they kick him, and then they kind of just, they have almost confused faces on the looks on their faces, and they kind of just shake their heads and close the door. And yeah, I mean, I really like this dynamic coming from the Young Bucks. And I mean, that kick looked great. Dude, yeah, you said it right. Good stuff coming from the Young Bucks. And our thoughts and prayers are with Alex Marvez and his family.
Oh, he did.
He's not Sammy Guevara dead, but he did.
He did.
All right, we get into our next segment of the night. This was an anticipated spot. I was really looking forward to it. It's such a stupid spot in the show. I mean, Congratulations to Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford. If you're getting married for real, awesome. Congratulations. The fact that they're putting it into the show, even better. But this mystery of who the best man of this wedding's gonna be. I mean, I'm intrigued. I want to know. I was waiting all week for this match, and I like how they did this, how they planned this out, how they executed it. It was funny. Wasn't too long. It was almost too long, but I think they hit the sweet spot here. What did you think of this whole segment of the reveal of the best man?
When we first heard that this was going to happen, I was just like, this is going to be dumb.
Yeah.
We see these types of things in vanilla, and they're always pretty dumb. But we were talking about it, and we were wondering, like, you know, are we going to see him group up with somebody that is already in the company, or are we going to, you know, be introduced to somebody new?
Right.
And I think you said that you thought it was going to be somebody new.
I was pretty sure it'd be new. Why put up the trouble for, you know, Griff Garrison or whoever, you know, insert name here, but
yeah. But I did like the tease of or the swerve or whatever you want to call it here, where these other guys were coming out.
Right.
Like, it took 3 attempts to find out who the actual best man was. And the first one that comes out is this very, very large man, which Kip calls him Puff. And they made it sound like he was a subscriber on his Twitch channel that he's always pushing on the show. What did you think about attempt number 1 here?
I thought it was funny. And I mean, this ties into, you know, the WWE banning the third party sites that we talked about during the BTE segment. And I mean, excuse me, Kip's been driving this home. He was kind of the first one to make light of this, and that was that the Dynamite before All Out, where he like pulls up the cue card and he's got his Twitch channel. And I mean, we've seen him in the crowd plugging his Twitch channel. So the fact that they used one of his subscribers, you know, hey, you said I was your best man. No, man, you're the best. Like, you subscribe to me. I appreciate that. You're the best.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then he totally shoves him away. Like, you're an idiot, but, you know, make sure to resub next month. I like how he threw that in. So that was good. And then we go into attempt 2, and out comes Brian Pillman Jr. He's like, yeah, I got your text. You said I was the best man. I'm super excited for this. And, you know, Brian Pillman, he's really exuberant in what he was trying to portray here. And again, Kip's like, what? No, man, that's not what I said. I was like, you're the best, comma, man. And I mean, much the same as with Puff, but just a little bit of a different cadence in how they deliver the joke. And so Brian Pillman goes away all disappointed, and Kip's like, okay, this is it. I've had enough. Let's bring out the best man. And this time some music hits. You know this is it for real. And I love how they did this shot from the heel tunnel where you just see this, like, wasn't quite a silhouette, but I mean, you just see this behemoth of a man blocking the entrance. And when the camera cut, I mean, I knew who it was right away because I recognized the Slim Shady haircut. But but when go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him because I've never seen him blonde.
Oh, okay.
So when I seen that blonde hair, I was like, yeah, I don't know who this is.
He must have did that like late last week. Like whenever his last Twitch stream, he had that blonde hair already. So I kind of recognized it. Yeah, and then we get the cut and we see the face, and I could only imagine if there was a bigger crowd there, the pop. Because he got a pretty decent pop at 10% capacity. Never mind if they had that place packed, what kind of pop he would have got. But I mean, it's Miro, formerly known as Rusev. Talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. This is huge. I mean, this is a big guy, charismatic. This guy is over with anything he does. Even when he's heel, I don't know. I always rooted for Rusev in WWE. I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Yeah, like it was within seconds they were chanting Miro Day.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's so over. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have another big guy. We've been saying that. Now we got a good chunk of guys that are big.
And Rusev is Miro. I got to get used to saying that. Miro is he's a funny guy. Like he can be funny, and then when he needs to be mean, and we saw that in the promo. He was very buddy with Kip Sabian. Thank you, man. Thank you for making me your best man. But then the promo hits, and I love the line how he's free of the glass ceiling. He doesn't need to reach for the brass rings anymore because you know what you can do with that brass ring is shove it up your ass. And we see that mean, intense Bulgarian brute. I think he's the Bulgarian beast now or whatever they were saying on commentary. But, I mean, it changed that quick. And then it changed back and he's smiling again and he gives Kip a big hug. So I like the dynamic. I think this is a good choice for Kip. Like you mentioned, Kip works better off of somebody. And for Miro to have the ability to be buddy, be funny like Kip is, because Kip's kind of funny in the ring. And then when he needs to back it up with the intensity, he has that too. And he can switch it at the drop of a dime. So I'm excited for this pairing.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be definitely good. From here, we moved on to a segment. We had this kind of like intimate backstage interview between Shivani and Kenny. I happened to run upstairs. I thought it was going to go to commercial break, but why don't you tell us what happened in this segment with Kenny?
Well, yeah, Tony asked him, how things are going, and Hangman seemed very distraught, very apologetic. He mentioned that FTR shouldn't even have been the number one contenders, because of his interference with the Young Bucks. And
right, this was Hangman's spot. I'm sorry, I said Kenny. This is with Hangman.
Oh,
you're right.
Yeah, with Hangman. Yeah, and the way that he's kind of talking towards the end of this segment is, we're gonna work it out. Like, we have good chemistry, and we've faced tougher things. So, yeah, I'm getting this feeling, or the way that he was portraying it was, he doesn't think this is done, and they're gonna move on, and they're gonna be back on top someday.
Right. He's hopeful that things will be all right.
I don't even know that he's hopeful. It was just like, it's going to happen just because they're both, great competitors and that. So, yeah, it's an awkward one. Because it's like we already know what's going to happen. And it's like he doesn't know yet.
Yeah. He's the last to find out.
Right.
All right. And we'll come back to this because later we do get a segment with Tony and Kenny, which kind of elaborates on this. But for now, let's move on to the next matchup of the night. We have Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss versus the Demo God, Chris Jericho, with his new tag team partner, as we find out afterwards, Jake Hager. This matchup was, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was just going to be let's show off some athleticism of Sonny Kiss, and maybe Joey Janela gets a little bit of payback from the match last week on Jericho, but essentially Jericho and Hager are gonna end up on top on this. But this match really put over Sonny and Janela as a tag team, you know, because they did put a lot of work on to Hager and Jericho, but essentially Hager and Jericho get the win.
Yeah, it was a fairly decent match. Again, it was kind of we need to have a match, and there's going to be a promo at the end. You know, who do we put them up against? And I thought it was a good choice. You know, coming back with Joey, again, kind of sucks for those guys. Losing again, I feel like these guys like never win unless it's a dark. But yeah, I think this is you know, let's put in some minutes for the promo we get at the very end.
Right.
Which Jericho grabs the mic, and it's a bit awkward at the beginning because the mic didn't work. Why does that always happen to Jericho?
I don't know. It's a conspiracy. I don't know. Maybe
and then he yells at Justin Roberts. Stupid idiot.
I mean, that's just proof that Jericho's the best, because he can take like a really awkward, embarrassing moment for the company, you know, for the production track, but then he turns it into gold, and then, you know, you gotta almost wonder, like, did they plan that? Just so Jericho could be like, Justin Roberts, why don't you give me the mic that works, you stupid idiot. So yeah, that was great. This promo, I mean, standard Jericho promo, but it's all about essentially, I'm with Hager now, and we're putting our names into the hat. We're gonna build up into the rankings for the tag team division, and we're coming after those belts. Which, I mean, that's kind of a slap in the face to the Spanish god himself, Sammy Guevara. You got to think. The Les Sex Gods, they had a good tag team. I don't think they ever lost. All of a sudden, Jericho's dumping them. Do you think this has any bigger meaning?
I think he does say in the promo that, you know, Proud and Powerful are busy with best friends, and Sammy's on the shelf. So,
right.
You know, is he really on the shelf, or is he just doing this sell for Matt Hardy? It's kind of like, this is what we're left with the Inner Circle, and this is what we're going with.
I just feel like when the time comes and Sammy's not on the shelf anymore, this is an avenue for him to come out of Inner Circle, and maybe we see a Sammy Jericho feud. I think that would be great. Because Sammy doesn't need Inner Circle. He can work with anybody, I feel like. So
yeah. In kind of unrelated, is Jake Hager not have an MMA fight soon? I'm expecting we're not going to see him at some point.
I'm not sure. I don't follow Bellator too closely. I don't even follow UFC too closely anymore. But I mean, it is possible. Like, I know Bellator is getting ready to run some fights soon. I don't know if Jake's on that list, but I mean, someone who's 2-0, you'd think he'd be on the short list of having fights.
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard that.
Possibly.
But
if you guys know if Jake Hager is getting ready to get back into the MMA octagon, let us know in the comments below. That'd be interesting to know. So yeah, new tag team on the block, and they're coming for the belts. Jericho and Hager. What do you think they're going to call themselves? Hurt God.
I'm sure there's going to be a shape in there.
You think so?
You think? Yeah. Octagon Buddies or something? I don't know.
We will find out soon enough. We get into a segment. This is MJF's kind of moment. Finally get to hear his true feelings on the match with Moxley at All Out, where he was cheated. You know, Wardlow with the referee distraction. Moxley takes advantage, hits the paradigm shift that was outlawed from the contract signing, and gets the 1, 2, 3. And we're in the campaign room, and everybody's looking kind of down, kind of distraught, except for Nina. Still got that smile on her face, beaming as always. And MJF was just on fire in this one.
Oh, he was mad.
He was a little bit upset.
So he says that Moxley cheated, but he blamed the loss on the campaign.
Right. Which is a classic politician move, I feel.
Yeah. So everybody leaves. Even
he fires
yells at
everybody.
poor Nina, like right in her face.
Like, he fired the campaign. He's like, you're all gone. Right?
Yeah.
You're fired. And Lee Johnson was up and gone as fast as Erd came out of MJF's mouth. So, I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So there's just Wardlow left, and MJF kind of blames him the most with this botched ring throw.
For sure.
And eventually leads him to getting the paradigm shift in the loss. And Wardlow doesn't take too kindly to this accusation of him being a dipshit, essentially. Right. And we've seen this before where Wardlow's kind of puffed out his chest, and right. MJF kind of backs down, pretends it's a joke or whatever. But this time, MJF don't back down.
No, he doesn't. He gets right back in Wardlow's face. And essentially it's... Are you forgetting that you don't work for AEW? Tony Khan doesn't pay your checks. I pay your checks. So, do we have a problem here? Kind of thing. And, you see the gears rolling in Wardlow's head like, do I need his money? Essentially he does back down, and apparently there's no problem between the two. But yeah, this is a different dynamic for MJF's character, because you're right, like in the past when he would get in Wardlow's face and Wardlow stands up for himself, essentially MJF does kind of laugh it off and, oh, I'm just playing. But this time it was all business, and this was serious. So this is a side of MJF we haven't seen before, and I don't know. I kind of like it. It's not the traditional heel way that we're used to seeing him, because a traditional heel might laugh it off and play it off as a joke. So yeah, it's different. It's interesting.
Yeah, and so I wonder, like, do they keep this going for like even another year? Or are we seeing the new storyline for MJF where Wardlow's eventually going to turn on him? He's going to abuse him enough, and maybe he starts getting paid by Tony Khan and the match is on.
I would say that Wardlow will turn on MJF sooner than later.
All right. I tend to lean that way as well.
I don't know if they could pull that off for another year. But I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I mean, we have Miro now, so maybe, that's an angle they could do. I was just kind of thinking after that whole thing, like, who does MJF have next?
I mean, logically,
he's been with Cody.
After...
He's been with John Moxley. Like, he's not gonna go Jungle Boy, is he? Like,
no. I mean, logically, he
did do Jungle Boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I mean, MJF, you can pretty much write him into any kind of storyline, and he'll make it work. you could put him in against Griff Garrison, and he would just spend the whole time thinking he was wrestling Jungle Boy. Like he would make that work so well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You fail at getting the AEW championship. To me, the logical route is to go after the TNT championship, and maybe we'll see an MJF Brodie Lee matchup, maybe. But yeah, it's tough to say. Like I said,
MJF versus the Dark Order. I like it.
All right, from here we get into another video segment. We get John Moxley's kind of answer, rebuttal to what we heard from Lance Archer earlier. And I mean, this promo, classic John, another great promo from Babyface John. But, you know, he puts over the fact that, you know, Lance is a beast. He's a machine and all these scary things that we're led to believe coming from Lance Archer. But he kind of mentions, you know, but this ain't easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be AEW champion now, right? So, you know, I just like how he laid out this promo and how he delivers it, as always. Who would have thought 5 years ago that Dean Ambrose would be a promo fucking prodigy? That's right, you did.
That's not the Dark Order side. That's just my hand up.
But it's funny because when you watch those early Shield vignettes and stuff like that, and them in the ring, Ambrose isn't the talker. It was Reigns and Rollins. But I mean, I gotta give you props where props are due, man. You called that Ambrose Moxley would be something someday. He's the real star of the group.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He didn't get a lot of opportunity. He was always Rollins, Reigns, but man, when he got the opportunity, you felt it. Like, you just felt that he was a crazy person, and facial expressions, and just, yeah, I thought he was the coolest, and still do.
Yeah, for sure. Moxley's awesome. So yeah, it was a good rebuttal promo from Moxley. And I mean, like I said, we're probably gonna get a hiccup in the next upcoming weeks with Eddie Kingston and this ruling on the Casino Battle Royale. But I'm super excited for Archer Moxley. Like, I loved that match at Wrestle Kingdom that we saw. Just can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard hitting one.
Yeah, for sure. From here, we get into the celebration, if you will. FTR with Tully Blanchard. They're in the ring. A few tag teams are outside the ring. For some reason, Silver and Reynolds are up on the apron, or like up on the staging area. Like, they weren't near anybody else, which I thought was awkward. But this is a celebration of the newly crowned tag team champions, FTR.
You know what? Now that you mention that, I'm thinking, did they come out late and then not want to
be walking,
like, come into camera? I don't know. It was so weird that they were up there.
It was weird.
Yeah,
that
we
they
had
were up there. Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we had SCU Private Party Gun Club was out there. I don't know if I'm missing any, but they're just hanging out.
Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were out there too. Marco.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this was essentially exactly what it sounded like. This was a celebration. We're patting ourselves on the back. Everybody should be appreciative of us because we are the best. We said we were the best, and we are the best, and blah 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 blah. But where this segment goes kind of, I don't know, off the rails a little bit, is that they take their time to passive aggressively take shots at all the surrounding tag teams that are out there. And I mean, I get that they're heels, and they are, they're very much follow the rules, but I mean, we're gonna break them whenever we can, kind of thing. So this kind of makes sense that we're here to celebrate tag team wrestling, but everybody else is shit compared to us, kind of thing. But I mean, I guess it's just the execution. I mean, it just comes off douchey to me. I did not like this segment at all.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. Went a little bit long as well.
Yeah.
Is it just because, they've only been in AEW like a minute, so
right.
They're already like just trashing everyone. I guess that's what's gonna get you heat. But what we get out of this is Jurassic Express did not take too kindly to them making fun of everyone around the ring, including themselves. And they jump on the apron and they're going to get in the ring. And FTR is like, whoa. Let's not turn this into every other celebration segment where it ends up in someone going through a table.
Right.
You guys are going to get your chance. We're gonna give you a match.
Mm-hmm.
So then the camera kind of looks at Jurassic Express and they're like, all right, title shot. But then FTR says, yeah, not for the titles. You don't deserve it.
You got to worry. Maybe if you beat us, then we'll give you a title shot. Which, I mean,
right.
That's classic. So, I mean, what do you think of this matchup, Jurassic Express FTR? I mean, it's awkward, but I mean, I'm sure it'll be decent to watch. I'm not expecting anything spectacular out of these two groups, though. Not together.
Yeah, they're so different. I think Jungle Boy is going to match up really well against them. He can do the chain wrestling and whatnot. But Luchasaurus is such a big guy, so I don't know kind of where he's going to fit in this. But I think if they plan it well, you never know. This might be a pretty good match.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, I believe that's set for next week on Dynamite, so we'll get to that soon enough. From here, we get one more segment. This seems to be the segment-heavy section of the show, much like last week was. But we get an in-ring promo kind of from Ricky Starks. This starts off with Taz, though, coming to commentary and kind of trying to bury Darby Allin a little bit and what had happened in the Casino Battle Royale. And then when Darby's music hits, he acts surprised, like, oh, Darby's here. That's great to see. And then, of course, we get Starks doing his Darby impression as he comes out, and he cuts a little promo on Darby, basically saying, like, why are you missing because of this pinky injury? Like, basically it was all, he's missing Dynamite because of this pinky injury. Really? Kind of thing. So, I mean, out of all the promos that we've seen from Starks, this one kind of misses for me, but I mean, we're obviously still working this Starks Darby feud, so I like that with Darby kind of taking a week off maybe to get his body in check, because like, I mean, he took a nasty fall at All Out, so I like that Starks just comes out here really quick, kind of reminds us that everything is still happening, if you will.
Right. Yeah. What's ironic about this promo is that he's essentially saying that Darby's reckless. This is why he's injured, right? Because he doesn't, do things properly. But I mean, we've criticized Mr. Starks for not being the safest of wrestlers here. So, it's a bit of irony.
Yeah, reminding our viewers that Starks very poorly in the attack from behind on Darby that damn near knocked him out going into the ropes there. Like, that was kind of an unsafe moment. And there have been others in ring during matches, but he's gotten better, and I think he's settling down a little bit. Starks is. So, but I'm excited to see where this feud goes, and excited to get things heated back up again. And we haven't really had the one-on-one match yet. It's always been, it was a tag match with Moxley, and then, you know, it's always been these kind of like in between, run-ins and stuff like that. So we've yet to have the payoff for this feud between Darby and Stark. So I'm still excited about that one.
Yeah. Hopefully, Starks brings his A game that day.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get right into the next segment, the next matchup of the night. Sorry, we have the newly signed Tay Conti, depending on who on commentary is talking at that moment. For me, it's Tay. Rhymes with TJ. It's Tay Conti.
Yeah.
Going up against the native beast, Nyla Rose, with her manager, Vicky Guerrero, at ringside. What did you think of this match? This is essentially Tay's debut on Dynamite. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a squash match. Tay had a little bit at the end, gets Nyla in the armbar, and kind of giving her some hope that, you know, maybe she was going to pull this one out, but ultimately gets the beast bomb and the cover, and yeah, she's done. So gets signed, job's out.
I mean, I expected her to lose this match, especially to Nyla Rose, but I mean, this is where, like, during this whole match, I was expecting she's going to lose. She's going to be down in the corner, much like Anna Jay was, and out comes the Dark Order. Anna Jay's going to be leading the pack, and like, oh my God, are you okay? And they're going to help her up and bring her to the back. Like, that's the scene that I was expecting to see. But instead, we get a promo from Vicky while Tay's still in the ring, and, you know, essentially Nyla goes to beat up on Tay some more, but Hikaru Shida comes out for the save instead. And we kind of get that reminder that, you know, things aren't really done between Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. So it was a little bit awkward of a booking, but I get where they were going. You know, Nyla Rose needed that match, you know, so that we could set up to get back into the Shida feud, and who else better than this new signee? Let's get her on TV, and you know, and that was that. But I really want to see Tay Conti get recruited by Dark Order. We got the tease a couple weeks ago. That's all I'm waiting for.
Anna's doing her best on socials.
Oh, is she?
Twitter and whatnot. Yeah. Kind of saying, you know, we saw what happened. You know, we can help you out.
Great. Interesting. Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, let's move on to the segment that I had made the mistake of calling out to before. This is the backstage interview with Kenny Omega. Why don't you take us through this one?
Yeah, so Tony asks him, you know, like, how are you feeling after the loss? And Kenny gives a very typical athlete
Stock.
sort of response. What?
Said stock.
It was stock to my ears. Yeah, it was, you know, it's part of the game, and you know, it's the way, it's how it goes sometimes, and whatnot. And I can't remember what the next question is that Tony asked, but it had something to do with Hangman, and he's like, yeah, you know, like we had chemistry and we had a good run, and you know, it's where it's at, kind of thing. And Tony asks, you know, well, what's next for Kenny Omega? Are you gonna reconcile with Hangman, or are you gonna go back to be a single competitor? And he outright says Hangman needs to make some plans, because Kenny has his own dreams, and he thinks he's going to go back to singles action. So quite the contrast from Hangman, who really seemed like, you know, this was just a blip in the Omega Page
Right.
Story. But yeah, we hear Omega and he thinks it's done.
Yeah, so it's interesting stuff. I mean, personally, I think these two should be singles competitors. I'm hoping that this all leads to a Page Omega feud. You know what I mean? I just feel that that's naturally what's next. The tag team breaks up, and then they do a run together against each other. And I mean, who doesn't want to see Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page? You'd be an idiot not to buy that pay-per-view.
Yeah. So Hangman's gonna get clean. Kenny's gonna be the cleaner. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Did you see Kenny Omega's Instagram? I think it was yesterday. He posted this picture of it was basically Mr. Clean, but he had the cleaner hair, you know, the scraggly curly, one side's fucking stripped white, you know what I mean? Like, it was Mr. Clean, but it was Kenny Omega. He's sitting there.
Right.
The cleaner's back, baby. I'm so excited. He needs to bring back the cleaner music, though. But again, we talked about that. That's probably owned by New Japan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
From here, we get an announcement. October 14th, which is being deemed the anniversary show of AEW Dynamite, which I don't get because there is a Dynamite on the 7th that would be closer to the actual anniversary of October 2nd. But I guess that's episode 52, and then this would be episode 53 to start the next year, I guess is their thinking. But anyways, anniversary
Unless
show.
I heard it wrong.
What's that?
Unless I heard it wrong, but I was pretty sure they were calling this the anniversary show.
No, they definitely were. It was all over social media this week. So October 14th, AEW Dynamite anniversary show, Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Championship. So big news. I think they're already selling tickets for this show, but
so this is a month out. We're gonna have this match.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, we're 4 weeks out from that. So, I don't know, does that change my mind that we're not going to see an Eddie Kingston Archer kind of story bloom up to this? No, I still think we're going to get that, but maybe it happens a little sooner than I initially.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if we get hey Lance, put your title shot on the line, you know, to face me kind of thing.
Exactly.
Get one of those types of matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's where it goes. Because, yeah, Eddie Kingston's right. He was not technically eliminated from the Casino Battle. We'll see what happens. Let's get right into the main event of the evening. This matchup was announced live during All Out, right after the Dark Order, Natural Nightmares, Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky match. Dustin gets the pin on Colt Cabana, I believe it was. It was Tony Schiavone that announced that Tony Khan made the match for this Dynamite, that Dustin would go up against Mr. Brodie Lee for the TNT Championship. This was one hell of a match. I really thoroughly enjoyed this match. We're talking about, you know, the veteran of 30 plus years and the man who never really got a chance to show his wrestling skills. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I thought it was a phenomenal match. You can really tell that these guys worked together in the past. They seemed on point, hard hitting. You know, this match started on the outside of the ring, and we had a table spot that, you know, didn't quite go, but you know, they're out on the pavement doing that kind of stuff, and the in-ring stuff, just two big guys going at it, and you know, kind of teasing that, hey, is Dustin actually gonna win this thing? We had an interrupt. Silver was the only Dark Order guy out there, which was you pointed out was a bit odd.
Yeah, it was odd because ends up Silver is the least favorite of Brodie Lee's minions, if you will. So it was a little awkward that it was only Silver out there, but I mean, he did a good job holding the belt during the match.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does.
He tries to get involved.
Doesn't work out so well. You know, Dustin really takes care of him quite quickly. The cleanest power slams in the business is Dustin Rhodes. Like, holy shit, can he fucking move a guy in the air? Not like that jabroni who almost killed Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, this was a phenomenal match. Dustin, like, it was clean. Usually when you get two big guys in the ring, it's almost clunky. I mean, at least how we've seen big guy matches in Vanilla Brand, they're always clunky and they almost clumsy, and it is quite botchy at times. But I mean, this match was clean. This was crisp, you know, spot to spot, and it was surprising that the way Brodie Lee dominates Cody in 3 minutes and 22 seconds or whatever it was, that Dustin really pushed the pace of this match and was really in control of it right up till the end.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Dustin's like in the best shape of his life. He looks so good, and he proved it on this night, and didn't win. Brodie Lee still the champ. His discus lariat there takes out Dustin.
I like how they did the ending. The ending to this match was just clean. It was just like, it was 1 minute Dustin was here, and then all of a sudden the discus lariat kind of out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. After a few false finishes, you know, we get a crossroads. We get I mean, I can't remember what he's calling the shattered dreams nowadays, but yeah. Oh, it was a solid match. It was well put together. It was well executed. It boggles my mind that Dustin was ready to retire after Double or Nothing 2019. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he was taking the gloves off and Cody rolls in the ring and stops him. It makes you wonder, was that all a work? Or did Cody really talk his brother into sticking around for a few more years? Because I mean, Dustin's putting out the best work he has ever put out. You know what I mean? Like, one of Dustin's greatest accomplishments was his WrestleMania match against Roddy Piper, like WrestleMania 12 or 13. I can't remember which one it was. But, I mean, I would put this match up against any of Dustin's WWE matches any day of the week. This was phenomenal.
Yeah. And we get some action after the match.
Oh, yeah?
Dark Order comes out.
Let's have it. Tell us.
Yeah, so the whole crew comes out. Stu Grayson has QT over his shoulder.
Right.
They must have knocked him out in the back, and Smiley Colt Cabana comes out, and Brodie Lee goes right after him, and that's kind of pushing that story, I guess. Evil Uno takes him out, you know, it's okay. He's very confused as to like what's going on, all that bit.
Much like it was at All Out.
Right. And then Brodie kicks Dustin in the jewels, and that's kind of how the show ended.
Yeah, it's so I mean, we talk about why is Silver the only one out there with Brodie at this point, but I mean, it kind of all comes around and it kind of all makes sense after the match, because yeah, they're out there taking care of QT Marshall, and you know, I think the whole of the story is still Brodie Lee Cody in a way. Like, I feel like this is all going to end with Cody in a way.
I could see that, yeah.
So, I mean, this is just like, yeah, we're going to take out the Nightmare family one piece at a time. The only thing I was missing from this is Brandy coming out in some way, shape, or form to try to, you know, protect the Nightmare family. And then we get another spot where Anna Jay maybe takes her out, getting a little bit of payback for that devastating pump kick that we saw it all out. Man, Brandy has never performed a move so cleanly than that pump kick. Yeah. Wow. I don't know if we put that kick over enough in the review show for All Out, but damn, did she get all of that. And Anna bumped it so well. That's besides the point. We talked about this already. So yeah, you know, where do we go from here with you know, are we going to see a QT against the Dark Order type singles match? You know, what's next for the Nightmare family Dark Order feud?
Yeah, because I guess we've already seen some tag teams, right?
Yeah, we saw
they faced 5 and 10, and I want to say that they've faced Silver and Reynolds,
probably at some point.
So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe does the Nightmare family need to recruit somebody while Cody's gone to try to maybe turn the tables? DDP coming back, like I don't know. This is what I love about AEW right now, is like, I have no idea what they're gonna do week to week. I mean, when it comes to the pay-per-views, I got that shit down on lock. I mean, I damn near went 100% at All Out. But you know, this is what I love about the week to week stuff, is that I don't know where they're going with some of this stuff, and it makes me excited to watch every week.
Yeah, and we hadn't mentioned it, but they've been kind of plugging all show that Cody had a huge announcement.
Yes. Oh, totally forgot about that. Good call.
And I almost was like, man, are we going to see Cody in this main event at some point? And we didn't. Show goes to black, and we still don't have this breaking news.
Right. And I mean, Shivani mentioned that, like, you know, right as the show was going out, we do have the announcement coming up next, and then it kind of went to black. So I immediately went to the YouTube channel, because AEW's got announcements. Where are they going to put it? YouTube, right? So I'm waiting for this like live premiere to come up. You know, YouTube live streaming. What's going on? Nothing's coming up. We were kind of we decided we were going to watch the Cole Finn Balor match. So while that match is going on, I happened to be on Instagram, and I catch that the announcement was actually like a commercial on TNT, is why we didn't see it on TSN. So I pulled it up. Sure enough, it ended up being uploaded onto the YouTube page finally. So after we watched the amazing NXT match, we pulled it up and we watched it. And the announcement really had nothing to do with wrestling. But I mean, I think it's worth mentioning because it involves Cody. Cody's such a big part of AEW. So basically, he's going to be hosting this extreme talent show, much like an America's Got Talent or something otherwise, but they made sure that there's ain't going to be no singing or dancing on this pony show, or I can't remember how they said it, but yeah. So I mean, what I thought was the most interesting about this announcement is that Snoop Dogg is going to be one of the judges, and I mean, that is just one more WWE Hall of Famer working for Turner.
Right.
I mean, not that it's Turner, but I mean it's Turner Broadcasting. I love it. We're taking them all. I mean, in related news, John Cena is going to be hosting the reboot of Wipeout, which is also on TBS, which is also a Turner Broadcasting channel. So, I mean, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, no wonder Vince wants to put a lockdown on Twitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably doesn't know what a Twitch is. He probably thinks it's another station or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we don't know. But he listens to the fans. Steph said, I believe her.
Oh, right.
All right, well, that was a great show. We had a lot to get through, and I feel like we got through it all pretty well. We got all our points out. Yeah, what else is there to say? But I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, just a reminder that Dynamite won't be on Wednesday next week. It's scheduled currently for Thursday, but on the broadcast, they said that might not even stay the same depending on what goes on with the NBA.
Right.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
Raps are down by 1 right now in the third quarter.
It's a close game. Yeah, I'm not sure what series they're waiting on. I'm assuming it's the Lakers series because they got started really late. I think they're only going into like game 3 on that in that series. So it makes sense that I think they said Excalibur said that they're waiting on game 6 because if there's a game 6, it'll be Wednesday night. So that Dynamite will be on Thursday. But if there is no game 6, then Dynamite will be on Wednesday.
Okay.
All right. So
yeah, check your local listings so you don't miss it.
Anyways, I just want to thank everybody for watching once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments below on everything we talked about. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the show. And I mean, we'll see you all Saturday. It doesn't matter unless somehow Dynamite's on Saturday. We'll always see you here on Saturdays. So again, thanks for watching. Peace out. Go Raps. This is going to be my rap sign. And go fuck yourself, Corvette.